The second weekend of the Tour de France begins with, or has, 2 sprint stages, this one with a headwind for the most part. Would we even see a breakaway? There has been so few sprint opportunities, and there will be even fewer sprint opportunities, that the teams like Little Trek, who missed out on stage 1 in the crosswinds and are all in for Jonathan Milan's green jersey, they're not going to let this opportunity pass, and there's a lot of UCI points available at the finish. So with that wind direction, slightly warm conditions, and Joao Almeida regaling Enric Mas and Jorgensen of how the crash happened yesterday. Good to see that the Portuguese rider could start today and actually seem to get through the stage reasonably well. But yeah, would anyone, when the race director actually said it's time to go on the break, the answer was no. Because Intermarché, they were on the front. Quinn Simmons for Little Trek and the Stars and Stripes was on the front. Total Energies, Ineos and Arkea try one move, it's shut down, and then everyone says, well, what's the point? And we'll just let Jonas Ruch and Quinn Simmons pace, because it's going to be a sprint anyway for the GC guys. A little bit more relaxed today, probably the most relaxed actually. For the first at least 2.5 hours at this stage. This is about a K1.5 from the first intermediate sprint. You can see Wanty and Simone Consoni and Milan laughing. The sprinters were even a bit relaxed because there's not many people going for the green jersey competition. And actually we see UAE moving up on the right-hand side. I'll get back to that in a second. Wanty wait too late to actually launch their last man. Milan gets the jump on them. He brings over Turgis, who boxes in Bini. Merlier seems to just open his legs but not actually try to do the maximum to win the sprint. He's just keeping himself in the competition. And then curiously, after the intermediate sprint, Total Energies try to go on the breakaway. It's a Saturday in France. You know, they're a French team. They want to go on the breakaway. Marc Soler's controlling. Why? UAE don't have a sprinter. And it's for Tim Wellens. There's one KOM point available. And if there's no breakaway at all, Tim Wellens can take that KOM point. So I don't know if Tim Wellens just wants to extend his days in the polka dot jersey, or they're really going to go for it with him, but that was somewhat curious. Total Energy eventually say, well, stuff you all, we're going to be allowed to go on the breakaway, and they do a team attack with Matteo Vercher and Mathieu Bergaudot. That eventually does get a gap, and they're allowed to take at a maximum about 1 minute and 10 seconds, whilst Little Trek still keep controlling. There's a few crashes throughout the stage. Marc Soler comes down, but he seemed to be pretty much okay. No visible scratches or rips to his shorts or anything. Got back on the bike and was pedaling very quickly straight after. At 30 k's to go, the complexion of the peloton changes though. Tudor to the front. Visma to the front with Jonas Vingegaard, Coquard to the front with Cofidis, Jaco to the front, Pogačar chilling more in the back of the peloton. On the one hill of the day, Total Energies take the point, and they also get the double combative prize for the day, which is well deserved. Johnny Milan kept forward, and Tim Merlier, his main adversary for this sprint, has a ill-timed mechanical at 12.5 k's to go. Will he come back? Neylands has a crash. What happened? He's got a flat. He's got a flat tire. He's got his hand up. He's asking for service. But like when Pogačar crashed before Europa, when he turns in on the flat tire, he crashes here. And in fact, Pogačar's just behind him on some Jaco and Picnic riders. He had enough braking room anyway, but luckily no one else crashed. But yeah, it seemed to be that he just wasn't able to turn on that tire. There were some downhills, more punctures for Penaway. He wouldn't be able to come back in time, the Groupama FDJ rider. Alpecin line up with Vermeersch on the right-hand side. Tim Merlier, he made it back quickly, but how much energy did it cost, and will he be able to move up? The answer was no. He wasn't really able to move up into position. So with 5 k's to go, you see Vingegaard waving the sprinters to go in front. It's time for the sprinters to take over with the 5k rather than 3k rule today. But a difference in this sprint from what I normally expect is Alpecin was to the front very, very early. They've got Rickard, Van der Poel, and then they're going to sprint with Groves, but 3 lead-outs with 3.8 k's to go, especially as the finish of this is a bit uphill. It's not a flat finish. It's like 1,200 meters at 4% with some steeper sections in there, but there's a downhill beforehand, and the 2 strongest lead-outs in this race, Trek and Alpecin, use up all their bickies on that downhill section. I mean, crazy that 2 k's to go, there's a downhill roundabout at 80 k's an hour. But anyway, maybe Trek had decided it's better to keep Milan in good position. Groves tries to move up here. There's no real need to move up. It's still pretty far from the finish, and he tries to dive bomb onto Van der Poel's wheel through the roundabout. Milan comes back in on him. There's nearly a big crash, so pretty dangerous move from Groves. I would say lucky that Milan didn't crash. Bauhaus was seeing his life flash before his eyes. and actually it nearly ruined his own sprint. Maybe it did ruin his own sprint rather than just having stayed in the original position he was in. And so Trekker early. Consoni's normally the last man. Sturven's the only guy left for Milan with 1.1 k's to go. Trentin sees that on the right-hand side, and there's so many sprint leadouts that wash over in this uphill. It's probably have been better for the legs. The two riders who do the best in this sprint were already in position for that uphill, and so moving up on the uphill costs a lot of energy rather than on a downhill if you come on the wheel of your leadout from the back. But Milan just surfs. He goes left onto the Groupama FDJ train, boxes Van der Poel off that. He has to go back and find Groves. It looks like Van Aert's going to contest this sprint. Dainese takes, I think, Cyril Bart off the wheel of Milan. It's Vandenberg coming up the inside. But here we have two leadouts with 565 to go that wash over the top of Groupama and potentially box in Milan if he gets pinched. Israel Premier Tech on the left with Stewart, who won a Dauphiné stage, actually beating Milan. So somewhat curious he's leading out Ackermann here. He maybe hesitates a bit too long and he doesn't bring Ackermann onto the wheel of Groves. Van der Poel had launched on the left-hand side. Milan's got himself into a perfect position. He goes to launch here. He goes to launch from far and then stops, sits back down again because Van der Poel's still doing a pretty strong lead out. And I guess Ackermann's able to fill the space. There was a potential that someone could jump in, but I guess it was uphill. So when Van Aert tries to do that, Milan already launches. Groves gets left flat-footed on the inside. And when Milan doesn't get boxed in, when he's able to surf wheels like that, nobody except for maybe Tim Merlier from his wheel can beat him. But yeah, I was curious to see him start his sprint, and then you can see Van Aert's thinking about launching into the open space after Milan sat down, but he launched at the same time as Groves and Milan. Ackermann comes, I think, fourth in the draft. Dainese, he wasn't really competitive. He was it's an uphill sprint as well, not his forte. Binny, though, comes 19th, so no points for him in the green jersey competition. Milan wins, head of Van Aert, Groves, Ackermann, De Ligt, Lund Andresen, Coquard, Dainese, Albanese, and then Fredheim. Here's what the big Italian sprinter had to say.
Yeah, we was really close in the last stage. I mean, not in the first one, but in the third one, we was pretty close to the victory. We know that we just went a bit too early, but today, we was really focused. We was really believing in it. My guys did an amazing job until the final. It was a really tough, final. I have to say, a bit stressful, but I was not expecting so. I was dragging up so much the last kilometer and a half. I know that I had to wait as long as that I could, but yeah, I like this kind of finals. I was really happy for the work that we did. We really deserve it.
In terms of the yellow jersey, no issues today for any of the main contenders, so no changes in the ranking. In terms of the green jersey, Milan takes the full 50 points plus 20 at the intermediate, so he is now about 30 points ahead of Tadej Pogacar, and we've got another sprint stage with 50 points on offer tomorrow, as well as an intermediate sprint early. Will Merlier have better luck? He'll be hoping for it tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you then. Ciao, ciao.